Hey everyone, this is Stacy Ross, also known as nailgeek216.com. I am going to do my first application video here. This is the color I'm going to put on. This is a one of the holiday 2018 colors. It's like a gold. It's a tiny bit see-through, and then it's got red and green and blue and silver sparkles in there. Super pretty color. If you follow my Facebook VIP group, you'll know that I've been talking about, I've been growing out acrylic nails. So I've had acrylic nails for, I don't know, probably 2 years at least, maybe more. And my natural nails are really, really thin. That's why I got the acrylics. But now that I'm doing the Color Street, I really want to do just the Color Street product because I hear so many stylists and people that use it a lot say it really strengthens their nails. And I'm super excited about the idea of, just going with the Color Street product. So I've got a couple things going on. I'll show you my my nails here. This is week 6 with the acrylics. You can see they're just there at the end. There's a couple nails that they've come off of. This one, I've got a product on top of that, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then here's my final results with my nails, but you'll see that in a minute. There's another one, it's grown out. This one here gives you a really good idea of how damaged they are after the acrylics. You can see that middle finger there that, it almost takes off like a whole layer. I got to try to get it in focus there. It almost takes off like a whole layer of your nail. And when you have really thin nails like I do, it's just this horrible mess you end up with. There's another one. You can see how far that's grown out. But I'm just letting them come off naturally. This product is so great for it because it covers it up. If I were to go with regular nail polish, you would completely see it. So this has been a really good process for me. But this is how ugly they look right now, and you're going to see how pretty they look at the end. I'll show you, like I did these two earlier just to kind of practice with the camera and to get sort of the end result to show you. So a couple things that the other Color Street stylists, I polled a bunch of people, and a couple things that they recommended. There were a few of them. I just asked a bunch of people, and a lot of people recommended these 3 products. I'm trying them out, see how it goes. That with the Color Street, I'm hoping I get, decent nails naturally. If not, it's easy enough to go back to the acrylics. This is OPI Nail Envy. You put this on underneath, so I have that. I'm just using that on the natural nails right now. This one in the middle, I haven't put it on yet, but in preparation for this video, I put it on this one, so you can see that's a little bit shiny. Otherwise, a lot of people like this. You don't have to use a base coat with Color Street. I wouldn't use just any base coat because the Color Street sticks to your nails so well. A lot of times a base coat is actually going to make it lift up more, depending on the quality. The other thing that people have recommended is taking biotin. I don't know that this is the best kind. This is just what I happen to find on Amazon. So I'm taking this one today, and I just started this like last week, something like that. So I don't have any results from any of these products yet, but that's what I'm doing. And then this one's also really recommended. This is a cream. So you put this cream on. It's also very good for your cuticles. It smells really nice. It smells like coconut. Not cocoa butter, which I don't like, but coconut, like that you would eat. It just smells delicious. And my cuticles look really nice. I'm very particular about my cuticles, so I like having this cream to put on, and it's a super big pot for, I think it was $8 or something like that. I actually got 2. For some reason, I got 2, so I gave one to my neighbor. So that's what I'm doing as far as strengthening. And then here's, I'm going to show you application. So when you get your set, it's going to come, I've already opened this one, but I'll show you what the strips look like. So you're going to get two sets of strips like this. So there's 16 strips total. This is 8. I've already started using the other ones. There's going to be 2 prep pads, and then you're also going to get a little mini nail file. It's good to have a cuticle stick around, so if you ever go to a Color Street, like if I have a Color Street party for you or something, I'm giving these out to everybody. These don't come in the pack, but make sure you have something a little pointy. These little cuticle sticks are fantastic. And first what you're going to do is get your nails ready. Make sure your cuticles are pushed back. And I've got company here with my son, so I'll make sure he's quiet. I'm working, so be quiet. Thank you. So make sure your cuticles are all pushed back, but don't put any lotion on your nails right beforehand. You don't want any grease product or anything like that on your nails beforehand. You can buff them ahead of time. That is really, really helpful. Smooths out the surface, especially if you have ridgy nails, and just get your nails ready. And then you use these alcohol prep pads. So this is all this is rubbing alcohol. So use that, rub your nails down with that, let that dry, and then you're ready to go. If you're going to use the OPI Nail Envy, I'd put that on maybe an hour or even the day before. But again, I'm not an expert on that. I just started doing that myself. And so take a look at these strips. They are, there's 2 sets like this. They're double-sided, so most people can get 2 nails out of a strip. It kind of depends on the length of your nail and how it goes with your application. But each strip you can see has 2 ends, and the ends are different sizes on most of them, or at least a slightly different shape. This one's real narrow on this end, and then this end you'll see perfs off, and it's a little fatter on that end. And there's 8, so you can, 2 sets of 8, so you can really customize these to fit your nails. If they're a little too wide, they're really easy to trim down. You can put them on your toes, trim them down, put them on your daughter, so you get your mommy and me manicure, whatever you want to do. So I have mine picked out here for the couple nails that I'm going to do. So I did these right before this video to kind of practice in front of the camera. I hadn't done, it's a little hard to look through the camera and do your stuff, but this is a double layer. I just saw my sponsor, the person that recruited me to Color Street, she had this same color in a double layer, and I thought it was really pretty. It just gets a little bit more gold, so I decided I was going to do mine in a double layer too. But it doesn't have to be double layer. You can do single layer. You can do whatever you want. If you one chips or whatever, you can always throw another one on top. All right, so I am going to use this one for my middle finger. I know this fits my middle finger because I've used it a whole bunch before. And I think now my nails are short enough that I can probably I like to kind of measure it to see if I can cut it in half or if it needs to be a little bit longer. Yeah, I think it needs to be a little bit longer. So these are sandwiched in, as you're sandwiched in 2 layers. So the strip is actually in the middle of a layer of plastic, and then there's a clear plastic on top, and then there's this white, it's almost like a sticker base on the bottom. And to size them, what I like to do is put a little bend in it so then you can see how well it fits your nail. You want to be, if anything, a little bit narrow. It's always better to be a little narrow rather than a little wide. Ideally, you want to be exactly the right size, but if you have to err one way, go a little bit narrow. You can always trim these down with some scissors. It's very easy. Just take a little sliver off, however you want to do it. Okay, so then you want to peel. There's a little tab here at the end, so you peel this clear plastic off, and it's super staticky. And then if you're going to cut it, I cut it at this point. Always take that plastic off first, but it's a little easier to manage, and if you're going to be able to get 2 nails out of one, you can cut it right in half. Mine's a little bit too long to get 2 out of one, so I'm going to cut it like this. Just, you can see I'm slightly, this side's a little bit bigger than this side, which actually works out pretty well for my double layering. What they recommend when you double layer is that you don't quite go all the way to the edge with the bottom layer. So I peel that off from the tab, and then you just gently pull this tab off and discard that. Okay, so this is going to be my bottom piece, and I am going to put that on my middle finger, and I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom because this is the bottom layer. Okay, normally you'd go all the way to the bottom, but because this is the bottom layer, you don't go all the way. You want the other one to kind of sandwich around it. So you tap it down. If it's in a good position, you just push it down. It's really easy. Make sure it's all smooth. And then with the top layer, you're going to do the same thing, except for you're going to be a little bit more precise about the positioning, because this one matters more. So I'm going right down to the base. If anything, you want to be away from the base. You don't want to be on your skin at all. So tap it down from the middle, and then I like to give a little pressure so it stretches a tiny bit.
Is the cat here?
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry.
And then just fold it over the end. I'm pushing it down, make sure it's in there good. Okay, I like to sit, like if it's long, I usually use my nail and pull off the edge, but because this was like almost exactly the right size, I'm actually just gonna let this sit and dry a tiny bit, and then I'm gonna file it. I find it works a little bit better. They recommend, usually if you follow the instructions, you're filing it right now, but I like to let it sit just a tiny bit before I file it. And if you want to use if you have any bubbles, or if you have any extra that you want to get off that's on your skin, that's where this comes in handy. You can just kind of gently perforate it. Or in my case, I just have a tiny bit on my skin. I'm just going to kind of push it underneath my cuticle, but other than that, that's pretty good. And that's it. That's how quick it goes. And that's a little slower than normal because I'm working in front of this camera, which is kind of weird. All right, I'm going to do another one for you. Just peel off the clear plastic. And I know I've already sized this one, so I know this is the right size. And this one I'm able to cut in half. So I peeled off the clear plastic. I'm going to cut it directly in half. I'm a graphic designer, so I can eyeball half pretty easily, but if you're not sure, fold it in half first so you can get a little bend in there so you know. Okay, so for this end, you're peeling up from the tab, and then you're just gently taking that tab off, okay? And then again, since I'm doing the double layer, I'm not going all the way down. Just tapping it. If you need to reposition it a little bit, you can pick it up and move it around. You can touch it a little bit, but you don't want to touch it too much. You don't want to get any grease under there, but you just smooth it out. Okay, right here I'm going to show you how I normally do the ends. So I usually wrap it around, I'll pinch it together, and then wrap it around the end, and then I'll use my thumbnail and just go underneath. You're just looking for a little bit of a perforation. You can also just use a nail file on the end. That's what the packaging recommends. But any of these little pieces, I like to let it cure. So it takes maybe 1 to 2 hours to dry. So I'll usually let it sit maybe half an hour, so it starts to cure, and then I'll file the edges a little bit. So there's usually a little tiny bit wrapping around the edge when I'm done. Because if you file right now, sometimes it'll lift up a little bit. I just find it a little easier. Okay, and then I'm gonna, so that's the single layer. That's what the single layer looks like. Super pretty. I can't decide if I like the single layer or the double layer better, but I committed to the double layer, so I'm going with that. Gets a little more gold with the double layer. There's that, I feel like you notice the glitter more. So maybe I like that better, but I don't know. I'm doing the double. All right, so then my last one. Placing it right there. I just kind of tap it down from the middle, and if it's not in the right position, you can lift it up. Push down to the sides, and a little pressure. If you get any bubbles or anything, just use a little pressure. Wrap it around. And I'm just using my nail kind of perf that edge. And then I'm just going to let those edges dry. I got a tiny, tiny bit. I'm real particular, so I have a tiny bit on my skin. And I'm just tucking that under. You can kind of rip them off too a little bit if you, that's where this tool is really nice, something sharp. Save your thumbs, both of your thumbs, until the very end because you're using your thumbs as tools, as you just saw. So you don't want to scrape it off at all. If you're using your thumb, you might scrape it a little bit. So if you do your thumbs at the end, that's good. Also, I want to tell you, see right there, that's underneath there. And I'm just going to let this dry and then I'm going to file that. It's going to stick a little bit better. These right here, you can see I filed, and you can see the little acrylic edge underneath there. That's it. Isn't that pretty? So they are 95% of the way dry when you take them out of the package. They're going to cure to your nails, like I said, in about 1 to 2 hours. Right now, it's dry to the touch. I can do whatever I want. I can go to sleep. I can put on gloves. If I'm doing my pedicure, I can put on socks. But I don't want to be picking at things because they're not cured to the nails. It's dry to the touch for sure, but it's not cured down to the nail. Whereas, you know, tomorrow it's going to be completely stuck down to my nail. These are going to last 1 to 2 weeks depending on your nails. Very similar to a gel manicure. But the nice thing is they don't damage your nails at all, like a gel manicure or like these horrible acrylics do. They come off at home just with regular nail polish remover. Any glitters are going to be, you just have to be a little more patient because if you ever use glitter nail polish, it's just harder to get off because it's glitter. But I highly recommend the glitter because it's gorgeous and sparkly. And also it's a little easier to put on. It's a little more forgiving. The solids tend to show bubbles and stuff a little bit more when you're first learning how to apply them. That's about it. It's super fun. Let me know if you want some samples. I have some free samples. You can order sets online or order sets directly through me. I've got a pretty good inventory in. And I also do in-person parties, online parties. The in-person parties are super fun because we pretty much just do what I just showed you. Everybody does their nails and I show them how. And or if you love this product and are interested in a sales opportunity, let me know that too. It's a complete blast. That's it. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for being, oh, there's my heart tattoo. You like that? Thank you for your patience. And that's Color Street right there. This is called, what is this one called? I can't even remember. I knew it. All the Jingle Ladies. There you go. The names are always really fun. All right, good night.